Well, welcome back. So, today I have a probably fairly quick one, but I wanted to talk about the next part of Then She Was Gone that I did for my book club. So, for this last week, we've been reading chapter 6 through 21 of this book. And technically, we were supposed to be to that point by yesterday, but here I am today because I've also been participating in the Bookopoly-thon, and so I've been a little distracted from reading my other stuff. But I did get through it, and I have to say that I'm liking this a lot more than I thought I was going to. The whole thing with Allie has kind of been resolved at this point, kind of. I think there's going to be some things revealed later on that have not been, but by this point in the book, Ellie's body has been found, and so they have that kind of closure, and then the story progresses from there, which is kind of the interesting part. But her mom has met a man, she's kind of dating him and stuff, and he's got this daughter who I'm pretty sure is also Ellie's daughter, and so that's kind of my theory going into this part, and kind of makes me really interested to see where it goes from there. But we first hear about this daughter, Poppy, in chapter 14, when Laurel and Floyd are on their first or second date, and he's just talking about his kids, and he's like, yeah, I've got 2 girls and all that. One of them is 9, and her mom's not really in the picture anymore. And that just triggered all kinds of things for me, because his second daughter is older and has a different mom. And so Poppy, who's this 9-year-old, and Ellie disappeared 10 years ago, and and Poppy's mom is not in the picture anymore, and she just kind of disappeared, which kind of sounds like how Ellie has just kind of vanished off the face of the map and then was found as a pile of bones in the forest. It all just kind of adds up to me. And then we also had a scene where Laurel looked him up, and he's a book author, and he's written all these math books and stuff, so I think that's going to tie in to the math tutor that Ellie had. I'm guessing that the tutor is like his mom, maybe a sister, maybe a wife, because I don't remember how old the tutor was, but some relation that way, and she's trying to give him like this relationship for some kooky head reason. Like, she's just not quite right in the head and is like, I want to give him this girl because she's such a great student and she understands math and he's a math person, kind of a thing. And so I think that's kind of what's going on there, and I'm really curious from that. But then there's just all these other things that are specifically looking like Poppy is going to be the daughter of Ellie. When Laurel first sees Poppy, she has this moment of, oh my gosh, she looks just like Ellie, which she used to do a lot in the past but hasn't done recently, but seeing her was one of those moments. And yes, there are people who look like other people, but that seems like a pretty strong indicator that Poppy could be Ellie's daughter. And then, I don't know, I feel like everything is trying to confirm it. In chapter 18, they are going to have a date at Laurel's house, and then Floyd's older daughter, who usually babysits Poppy, backs out of it, and he's like, hey, can I bring Poppy? What are we going to do tonight instead, kind of a thing. And Laurel's like, yeah, sure, just bring Poppy, we'll just have a fun evening together, whatever. But then he also texts her and is like, Poppy is really crazy about people's pictures, so if you have any pictures of Ellie, you should probably hide them. Which, kind of sounds considerate, and like, it's like, hey, this is your dead daughter, you probably don't want to get a lot of questions from my precocious 9-year-old. But on the other hand, if it is that Ellie is Poppy's mom, and I'm assuming he knows that, and that's part of why the meetup with Laurel even happened, that in that case he wouldn't want Poppy to see her mom in Laurel's photos, and so that's where my thoughts are with that. So I can see it kind of from the considered angle. but I also feel like it's more than that. And I don't know. In some ways, I guess it does feel like there's maybe too many things pointing to her being Ellie's daughter. But at the same time, that's a great way to then make the reader not sure of things, because it's like, oh, the signs are so obvious, but if you're making them so obvious, are you really doing something else with the story? And we did have a little bit of a, like, blurring of the issue, because Laurel does talk to Poppy about her mom, and she says that her mom had, like, red hair and smelled like chips, which is a really random detail and stuff. But, like, the red hair obviously is different because Ellie had brown hair and didn't look like that. But if I remember correctly, the math tutor did have red hair, and if she's kind of weird in the head anyways, maybe she was dyeing Ellie's hair or something, and then Ellie ran away and, you know, finally escaped that situation, and that's when she ended up dying and that kind of a thing. So I'm very curious to see where this story is going, and I'm really enjoying it, and I can't wait to read the next bit. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on this next section of Then She Was Gone, and I just want to keep reading and find out what happens next and see if any of my theories are actually true. But that's all I've got for now. This is the Umlaut Harper signing out.